We're going to make plays. We're going to play hard. We're going to do what we got to do. O-line, D-line, toughness, 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 toughness.
Hey, Buckeye Nation. Welcome to the Buckeye Cast, your only commercial-free Ohio State football podcast. These guys were born and bred in the Buckeye State, and they like to talk Buckeye football and drink bourbon. Subscribe and leave a review wherever you get your podcast. Now, pour a drink and pull up a stool. Here's your host, Joe Warwick.
It's time!
Cool, perfect. All right, what's up, folks? We are back, and I am so pumped to be talking about Ohio State losing. Actually, we missed the Oregon game earlier this year because I caught the vid right at that exact moment. Seemed to be very coincidental. I'm not sure. So I had to take a couple weeks off early in the season when we lost Oregon. Anyways, this is my first loss of the season as a Buckeye fan officially. Please hit the BuckeyeCast.com. As always, we got free shipping going on. Got to get those Christmas presents for the Buckeye fans in your life. And don't forget, we are releasing the press conferences from Ryan Day and the player interviews. So please keep an eye out on our podcast feeds, wherever you get your podcasts. You guys got any bourbon talk you want to venture into, Jeff?
No, I opened up that bottle of Elijah Craig about game time.
Yeah. Finished it by half.
No, I don't know if I'm gonna finish it. I think it's bad luck. I put it away.
What's wrong with it? Is it you or is it the bottle?
It might have been operator error. Could have been. But no, it just once that game started going south, I had a feeling that game wasn't turning around, and I didn't want to keep drinking like what I was drinking had something to do with that outcome. But I don't know. Just
the volume.
Bad luck. Bad luck attached to that bottle.
You got some microphone fading going in and out. FYI.
Sorry about that.
Are
Better?
You moving your face?
Slightly.
Henry, same road. How did you go with the bourbon walk on Saturday, or what'd you take?
No, because I can't really control myself like on a game like this. I'm too emotional. I'm slamming beers like they're water. I probably had 17 of those. On Saturday. Kept it light. Keeping it light. But I was just drinking some watered down light beers most of the game.
So you spent the entire game in the restroom.
I was in there a few times.
That's why I quit drinking beer, man. I just end up in the bathroom every other beer.
Well, I don't know why, because, we're talking about today's college football and games that take 4+ hours. There's plenty of breaks that you can,
Yeah. If you're
not really an issue.
That's true. If you're watching a Fox game, that's like a 3-minute break between each.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Commercial. So yeah, plenty of time. Especially after every quarter, it's like 10 minutes of commercials. Jesus, guys, come on.
I love the touchdown. Then you get the extra point, commercial, comeback, kickoff, downed, commercial.
Yeah.
Nobody on a football field could have. Only one person really needed to move. And
you could have taken a nice shit around there.
Sometimes that happens when I first see a touchdown. I'm like, I got a good 8 minutes here. Play actually.
Relax. Maybe break out a good book. Obviously we all know Buckeyes take one to Michigan, and I would like to take this moment, though, and I hope you guys will join me in welcoming Michigan fans to the rivalry, and Michigan themselves, the team. Welcome to the rivalry. This is what it typically looks like, where you're supposed to win occasionally. We've been waiting here a while, like a long, long while, for you guys to fucking show up, and finally you did. So happy about that. I'm trying to keep this, in a positive note. I'm glad that Michigan also stormed the field, which they've been waiting desperately to do since the last time they beat Army. And if Michigan fans, you guys are obviously headed to the Big Ten championship, so if you need directions, maybe ask a Buckeye fan. They can tell you like hotel recommendations, restaurant recommendations, how to get around the city and whatnot. So
yeah, they've built up enough of a history,
Right. So hit up your favorite Buckeye fan, and they can probably help you out with the locale. So yeah, after all the fun and games, so Ryan Day is now 1-1 versus Michigan. Not far away from John Cooper status, so keep an eye on that. Loses his first Big Ten regular season game, so keep that in mind. So let's jump right into the game, guys. Give me your one big thing, Sean. One big thing that stood out to you, if you can find just one.
If I could find just one, okay. Let me pick just one thing. Fucking run D that is non-existent. That's one thing, right? When you know what a team is going to do to you, you absolutely 100% know what their game plan is to do to you, and you can't even try to stop it. You go through that whole game 0-0. I don't know if I've ever seen this on the Ohio State stat sheet. You could probably go back and find it somewhere. 0 tackles for losses, 0 sacks. That D was trash. They got gashed. They got manhandled the whole game. Our linebackers, we should have at least probably one, maybe two more on the field to stop that offense they were throwing at us. And they just, to me, they were playing sluggish. Maybe I'll go back and maybe I'm being hard, and maybe the camera was on my guy, Steele Chambers, for a couple plays, but he's waiting for the guard to come out and engage him instead of filling that hole.
He got mauled a lot.
It's 16 yards, and I felt like we were not prepared and not aggressive enough in that run game at all. And Michigan came out and absolutely took it to us. And that's what pisses me off. I don't mind losing a fucking good, well-fought football game, but when someone just drives it right down your throat, I mean, I love when Ohio State does that to a team, and I imagine Michigan is giddy about that. They must.
Oh yeah, Harbaugh is jerking off to that right now.
But beating Ohio State's one thing, but doing it in the manner that they did and say you can't stop us.
Right.
So you've in the past few weeks, you go on, hey, let's look at our drives. Well, guess what? The second half for Michigan went touchdown, 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 kneel down. That's how Michigan ended against Ohio State.
Right. And those weren't field position things or short fields. Those were 60 to 80-yard drives.
Yep. And so that was my one, I guess, biggest thing is that you've got a defense out there, and I don't know if now I'm starting to question myself. Was Combs even the problem? This is the same defense essentially that was week 1, week 2 against us, and maybe we just don't have the horses to stop a power run game. I don't know, or the scheme or whatever it is, but.
We'll touch on that.
It looked just like that Oregon game. It looked just like that Minnesota game.
Yeah, it was very reflective. We'll touch on specifics, but I want to get Jeff's one big thing. Is there any chance that your big thing looks different than Sean's?
Well, obviously, the control of the line of scrimmage was the most eye-popping thing. But just to give you something else, I just saw in a lot of instances on special teams, offense and defense, where we didn't win the one-on-ones that we typically win. It just seemed like to a man Michigan wanted it more, and made me disgusted.
Yeah,
No doubt.
they
They won
there
it
was
more, no doubt.
there was
We
no
knew the. I
momentum
mean,
change ever in the game.
there was no scheme. The scheme didn't surprise us. Sure, shouldn't have surprised us. We knew what they were going to do. They didn't really try to hide what they were going to do. They just executed
They
better
did a couple of their
at
little
every
trick
point.
plays.
Well, everybody's got some
A
wrinkles.
little.
I mean, I saw them with some wrinkles. I didn't really see us with any wrinkles. Um, but just to give you something different. But the overall glaring thing was the control of the line of scrimmage that we failed at.
Yeah, it was basically my same deal. I think I would call it more out-coached on both lines of scrimmage versus outplayed. I think the coaching was terrible.
Generous.
Third downs, 8 of 18 on offense, settling for field goals in the red zone. I mean, I just threw like 3 different things at you, but I don't know if the scheme, and we'll get into that, I don't know if the scheme was ideal. Working with what you have as from a personnel standpoint and utilizing that, I don't know how you get beat on both sides of the ball because of the players we have, the quality, the caliber of players. I don't know how you get beat on both sides of the ball unless there's some type of coaching / scheme issue, right? You know what I'm saying? We
Well,
got like
it-
4 and 5 stars across the board.
Yeah,
But I
is
think
it scream?
they were hyped up for it.
Oh yeah, they wanted it, and I guess you can put that on motivation. Like Hutchinson said after the game, they were tired of being disrespected by Ohio State, and blah blah blah. But I think when it comes down to it, when you have better quality athletes, I don't know how you get beat that badly on both sides of the line of scrimmage. That seems weird. And Sean, I know, and I'm on board with you, Sean, when you say that we got 4 tackles playing, and not legit, 2 guards, 2 tackles.
The
And
O line was trash, and Hutchinson ate them up. And I think that was one of my big things. I think it was everyone in the country's big thing last week is that's where the game's going to be won or lost. If our supposedly NFL tackles can take on their NFL DNs, and we
Yep,
couldn't.
exactly.
yeah, so that's my big issue. I guess from there I go to the third down, lack of conversions, taking field goals in the red zone, penalties. Obviously, the timing of these penalties on offense was just the worst. Like when we first drive, we get down inside the 10, take a 5-yard penalty, and then CJ gets sacked. Now we have no choice but to kick a fucking field goal, right? And like you just said, the sacks coming over the O line was brutal. I don't know where to start.
CJ Stroud is not a great quarterback under pressure. He is amazing with a clean pocket, but he is throwing off his back foot, throwing weird passes. That one floater he threw that should have so been picked that their guy thankfully dropped. I don't know. Anytime he has to move where it's not a planned move in that pocket, I mean, his mechanics get real sketchy, man.
Well, that comes with pressure, man. I'm going to defend CJ on that one, Sean, because I think that he was trying to throw that one away that went to Wilson. And by the way, let's not forget that was an egregious PI by the corner before the safety came over the top. Okay,
Well,
so
Michigan doesn't get PIs, so I can't say that.
well, I'm not sure there is a team out there. I'm not sure there is a team other than us that takes a PI.
I mean, I was on that Smith and Jiba one. I thought, well, they're going to review this thing, and I'm like, but it's so the whole review is of this guy pass interfering on that play, and no flag was called. I mean,
Right.
what in the world?
Well, dude, we'd be here all fucking day and all night if they tried reviewing PIs. Because you could call that just like holding on every play. It's just, for some reason, these Big Ten refs have the fucking flags in their pockets most of the time, especially against our receivers, apparently. And definitely against our defensive ends. So I was going to pull up the drive chart to talk to you guys about it, but I get sick every time I look at it. I mean, we go starting, we go punt, field goal, fumble.
Wait, time out before we go starting. You know what we started with? We started with Julian Fleming doing the same fucking thing he did last week and like letting the ball land on the 4-yard line. Hey, thanks, man. He did it 2 weeks in a row. What's he doing back? I know Amika's hurt, but I mean, aren't they teaching this kid?
Well, apparently we have no backup from a kickoff return point of view. So that falls.
Or Najiba or Wilson?
Actually, early in the season, Travion was returning kicks.
Give me some of that. Give me something in this game. If Fleming is unexciting back there, I think, to me, he's a big, strong dude. He's not a return guy. He's in high school.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I'm all over that too. I think.
Well, remember we went from that to the with the 4-yard line, we're snapping the ball, and the ball gets snapped because they can't hear the noise. The ball gets snapped in CJ's shin, first play.
No, it's nuts.
Well, that's what you know what I'm saying. He's walking up to the line to change a play, and they're snapping because there's no communication. It's just a bad omen. That little series right there, I kind of had a bad feeling. I was like,
I know.
oh, God, this isn't the way you start. But and it just went. It just stayed the rest of the game.
Yeah, they went 3 and out there. So they go punt, field goal, fumble, touchdown, field goal, punt, touchdown, downs, ball game. A lot of mystery shit mixed up in that drive chart. And also you'll notice the limited possessions. We only had like 5 possessions in the first half and 2, 4, 5 in the second half. So we're not used to that. We usually get like 13 or more in a game.
It was the turnover battle. We lost.
Right.
And Michigan executed exactly what they wanted to do.
What do you
Keep the
mean?
ball away from us.
Turnover battle.
We did win it?
We
Really?
had a pick on them. We had no fumbles. I mean, turnover on downs, I guess. We had no turnovers.
Right, we did.
Cool.
This was not a fumble. I'm sorry. The Ohio State one early in the second quarter or first quarter was ruled a fumble, but it was a punt where the returner for Michigan fumbled it and he recovered it. So you're right, Sean.
Yep. It seemed like we lost the turnover battle. I mean, but that's even more disgusting.
I mean, I'm just thankful that Shaw got that one pick that he did because Michigan was about to open up a can of whoop ass early.
They were doing what we do.
Yeah.
You know, get you down early, but we're built to come back from that. But apparently our issues on the lines were not built for that. So CJ goes 30. Go ahead.
Here's a point to your. We only had 10 possessions in this game. However, we possessed the ball for more than them for almost 32 minutes of this game. And I obviously I've got to put some of that on the weather and on the environment. I know it was loud and getting plays in and out, whatnot. But again, that whole thing played right into Michigan. Let them pound out long drives, running, pound it down your throat, and limit your possessions.
Sure, they were making they're picking up yards while they're churning that clock. So yeah, that's where the timing gets lost. But CJ goes 34 or 49, 394, 2 touchdowns, no picks. He was under constant pressure. That old line was a fucking mess. I actually thought that it got better when DeJuan went out, and they switched back to basically last year's line and bringing in Matt Jones at the left guard. Seemed like they were more, I don't know, relatively solidified, but DeJuan was fucked. I think they actually pulled him out of the game. I saw that some people were saying he had a shoulder and went into the medical tent. I think that might have been a performance issue. So anyway, NPF was getting his ass kicked. I don't know. We spread the ball, like looking at the receiver stats. These guys put up fucking serious numbers. I mean, Jackson had 11, Garrett 10, Olave 7. I heard people bitching on Twitter about getting Garrett the ball more. I'm like, how? And why? I mean,
it just looked different. Other than obviously the touchdown, that was just freaking amazing. It was almost all underneath stuff.
They were taking what the defense gave them.
And Michigan was tackling them. I mean, they were tackling well.
Yeah, the fundamentals. Michigan had it. Blocking and tackling is where Harbaugh said it would be won, and they lived up to it, unfortunately. Travion only got 74 yards on the ground, did get 50 on 5 catches. Mayan didn't really contribute a whole lot. 7 carries for 20 yards. Getting into the defense, though, I am not going to pick out a defensive MVP as we typically do.
No.
You guys all need to eat shit. You eat shit!
And give mine to Shaw. He saved the first half blowout at least.
Yeah, but regardless, third downs, they let Michigan go 5 of 8. They only got into 8 third downs, Sean. Like you just said, they possessed the ball, 28 minutes of the game, but only got into 8 third downs and converted 5 of them. Fuck, man.
Yeah, when you're running it for 7 yards a carry, third down, you don't need no third down.
Yeah, you're going 300 total yards rushing. It seems pretty easy. Like you said, last 5 drives went in for touchdowns. McNamara only threw for $160 and a touchdown. J.J. McCarthy, 1 throw for 30 yards. Haskins goes for $170, 5 touchdowns. It was a big throw, yeah, Jeff. I give you that. I think that was those big completions were like perfectly played. So,
okay, so we got outplayed and outcoached because
I don't know if the secondary did. Secondary is pretty solid. I know that that Denzel had the PI late, and then he did give up one of those 9 routes down the sideline. Not sure he was the problem on defense. You know, I think most of it was up front in the front 7. And quick question: you think it's a good idea to run a 4-2-5 against a team that just runs the ball 50 times a game? Does that seem like a big...
we tried it like 3 times this year, and we haven't looked good any of those times. So definitely have insanity, you know. Keep doing the same thing over and over again and expect different results.
Yeah. So which coach is insane?
Well, I think, again, going back to early in the season podcast with the Kerry Combs hire, and then removing duties from him and putting what's his face in charge. That was a band-aid. We all knew that the Combs hire was a desperation hire to begin with. It never made sense. He never had this type of duties. And they probably didn't feel comfortable with anyone else doing it at the beginning of the year. So he's kind of like, well, here's what we're going to do. And I expect a full national search for a guy that can run a defense for next year.
Yeah, we'll get in. I want to get into coaching moves as soon as we're done with this segment.
That whole D coaching staff could, our line is not getting a bunch of pressure, and our guys don't play every down like Hutchinson and Ajabo. I know that affords them more opportunities, but our guys should be fresh as can be and should be getting it after it. Hutchinson and that Ajabo, they don't stop. They remind me of Bosa's and Chase Young. They're gonna keep coming, and if they don't just blow by their guy and get a sack. They do it through working, and they're working, and then Stroud takes a step up and moves over, and boom, then they get it. It's not like they're like blowing our guys off the ball. They wanted it more. They had more hustle, and I don't know why guys like Harrison and them
Tyreek
aren't getting those, and even the young guys. It's like they go in and engage, and if they don't, it's like if they don't beat you right off the ball. They don't have that fire for the next 4 seconds, to go and keep making that play.
Yeah, I agree. Our defensive line is a big problem, all across the board. I don't know. It seems like they look good against some of these garbage teams over the last few weeks, but then when they're faced with, I don't know if it's better quality O-lines. Like, I don't think Michigan has a great O-line. I think
it's pretty good, especially run blocking.
Right. But typically when they're successful, they bring in an extra lineman or a fullback or something.
Well, they always have 2 tight ends in there. You get
Well, I think we are super thin at linebacker ever since Gant and Kamo quit. Yeah, since they quit, we went super thin in that. And then EA wasn't available this week. He would be a thumper because he's a big dude.
Taraja Mitchell's not small. Where the fuck was he?
I know. That was going to be my next point. Is I didn't see him all day.
They didn't put him on the field. I mean,
I wonder if there's a transfer in his very near future.
is he to get a free year? I mean, he's a senior, right?
Oh, he can get another COVID year at least, maybe 2.
Because last year it didn't count for anybody if you don't want it to. You can use it if you want to, not if you don't. So
I can tell you his recruiting year was like
18.
Fucking
18 or 17. I was looking through our recruits.
He's an 18. He's 18. An 18 guy. So he's got 18, 19, 20, 21. He wasn't redshirted, so he would have an extra COVID year to make it his 5th.
I thought he had a medical redshirt 1 year. Injury redshirt.
I don't see that here on the scholarship chart. I don't think so. So anyway, regardless,
he's not going to be in our plans. I mean, you think if we get a top line D coordinator in here next year, you think he would find Taraja Mitchell and say, "No, son, I got a spot for you."
I think he's already in the looking phase.
Jeff, I actually think he could. I think Taraja was an absolute phenom coming out. Everyone expected huge things from him, and
he couldn't play, and he hasn't played in 3 different schemes since he's been here.
I know, but you know what? The guys that are playing, they're no good either. So I'm just saying, if there was different eyes on it, and you're installing a different system, and teaching these guys different or whatever, I always feel like when a new coach comes in, it's like, hey, I'm starting blank. I don't have a starter here or there. I'm going to play my best guys, period. And where if you got a guy that's there for a number of years, you're like, okay, hey, this has been my guy. You almost feel like the old kid something or whatever. But with the new guy, um, I think they can oftentimes be better at finding the best talent because there's no bias there.
I got you. I got you. If we did end up opening a search for a top notch high level D coordinator coming in, Larry Johnson's not going anywhere. We're not firing Larry Johnson, are we?
No.
I mean, we're like, I
No.
mean, I guarantee you, any D coordinator, any college D coordinator in the country, he's gonna know what he has in Larry Johnson. He's not gonna say, I'm gonna bring my own guy in. You know, the rest of the guys, I don't know. I mean, I, I don't know. I don't
Well,
know if it was a
I
scheme or
think
not. I mean,
I
we
think
have.
leading right into the defensive changes that have to happen. First of all, let's look at this question. This is a question that I'm posing to you guys. Is a defense any better than last year at the end of the year?
No,
I mean, last year
no,
we had
I mean, no,
we
you
had
can't. You're coming off a game you just gave up 266 on the ground, and one guy got 5.
well,
No,
last
it's
year we
not.
had a lot of linebackers, so we ended up playing a 4-3 or a 4-4 all the time, right? So now we have a plethora of DBs with no experience, by the way, and we're playing a 4-2-5 or almost 6 DBs times. So it's got to come down to players, coaches, or scheme, right? That's what it always is. Or is it all of the above? I mean, you could say it's 2 of the 3 or 3 of the 3, but it's got to be those 3 things. That's the only way it is. So if this defense needs to tweak because of the personnel, which you kind of have to do, right? In college football, you can only work with what you have as people.
Yeah, you look at you look at what you're losing each year and what you got coming in, and you're trying
And
to plan.
we've got a limited amount of linebackers right now all season. Ever since Gant and K'Von, quit, we've gotten and it took EA right up until the day before the season started to actually be approved, but he got no reps in camp. So basically we had 3 or 4 linebackers to work with, and then we go to, okay, what kind of defense we were going to run. So they decided to run this 4-2-5, with the bullet being number 5 kind of thing, and cover safety and DBs. So I don't know. There's a lot of issues. I think that we're going to see one way or another, whether these guys are fired or they take jobs elsewhere. I think Combs is gone. I think Al Washington's gone. And Matt Barnes is probably on a tightrope. You guys have thoughts on that?
That's what you're predicting.
That's my thoughts. I mean, Kerry Combs is not going to lose all of his power as a DC and come back next year to be DC in title only.
Why not? Because where else is he going to go? You can go to a B school and get a DC again, but you've kind of proven yourself, Kerry, that with all this talent, you're not up to it. And so you got no capital. I mean, you're a defensive backs coach, man. And there's nothing wrong with that. You can make a damn good living at it. But
so is Matt Barnes.
Agree. So I think probably one of those guys is gone, but not necessarily both. And I mean, if I could even see Kerry Combs realizing his limitations. I mean, again, maybe he could probably go get a sweet gig at D coordinator at Bowling Green or something. But is that what you want to do?
Yeah, it might be.
It's ego. You got to keep ego in the equation, man. He's been given that role. So how do you all of a sudden yank it from him and he stays?
But sometimes you can build ego when you're a specialist in something. Larry Johnson, I'm sure, has an ego, and that ego pushed him to become the best defensive line coach in the country. Kerry Combs was producing as defensive back coach at Ohio State. So if he can say, you know what, I'm embracing this role. I'm for the next 10 years. I'm going to have secondaries that just put out and put out. You can go down and be one of those guys that people talk about, the position coaches that are the Heartlines, the Larry Johnsons, those types of guys. But the chess game, I don't think he's a chess game guy.
Well, yeah, I agree. I will say that it seems like they've had some really bad hires from within, promoting guys like they did to Matt Barnes. I think the outside hires, like say a Halfley, are the better route. Like, go get a position coach in the NFL that is up and coming, knows defense, and will bring that to college football, I think is the way to go. Kind of like Michigan did with McDonald. I think you got to go to the NFL because these offensive schemes are getting too complex. Not that Michigan runs a crazy complex thing. It's not just to beat Michigan, obviously. Actually, the goal, as Ohio State puts it right now in their indoor facility, is to beat national teams, Bama, Clemson. So I think you go NFL guy like they did with Halfley, he was just a DB's coach at the Niners that worked with Day when he was there. So I think
Day just knew. Sorry.
No, go.
I was saying, I think they recognized how smart and sharp of a coach he was, because he went from coaching our being a D coordinator with us, 2 years? 1 year?
1 year.
1 year. Head coach at Boston College, and he's got Boston College playing respectable football.
Right.
You know what I mean? As a head coach, Power 5 school.
Exactly.
So some of those guys, I don't know. It's all in the different coaches. It's like people see certain coaches at a certain age. They don't care if you're 32 or 42. If they just see if you have it, then you get promoted quickly. I don't know. Is it even a foregone conclusion that we're going to be overhauling our defensive staff?
No, I'm saying that it's realistic.
I have not looked
very realistic.
I've not looked at social media one bit, so I've not seen anything.
I think it's very realistic that Kerry Combs is gone, because he said, like, after he was demoted or basically, ripped of his coordinator powers, right, that he was going to work his ass off for the rest of the season. He's a Buckeye, and committing for the rest of the season. And
I remember those
said
words.
Season, so carefully worded. So
for sure.
Honestly, he could be.
How would you have worded it? In the middle of the season, you get demoted. You would have said, you know what, don't worry about me, people. I'm going to work my ass off the rest of the season. What would you have said? I think you're parsing words here at that point.
Okay.
What would you have said to make it not? I don't think that's coded language, other than he's saying, hey, this is what's in front of me right now. And that's that. I mean, I don't look at that as him saying that he's necessarily gone.
Okay.
No, I agree, Sean. I think
you put it in that moment.
Okay.
It is the way he said it. That is the way he said it, because I do remember him saying it that way. Mm-hmm. But he couldn't have. He may not have meant, anything hidden by it.
What are you going to say in the middle of the season? Hey, I'm going to work
I got you.
5 years here to get back. He's like, that's.
Yeah. I mean, that's what
he
I'm
could
saying. He could still leave after this year and not meant it.
He could have said, I am going to coach the hell out of my team or my position for the rest of my contract. But he said season, Sean.
Well, yeah, but that was just he's in a press conference.
Nobody fucking says that.
He's in a press conference. It wasn't a written statement. You're not going to say that.
When they asked Ryan Day, when Ryan Day, he's not talking about 3 years from now. He's talking about this season. You're in the middle of the season. That's what's going on. Fuck next season. That doesn't even exist.
You guys want to put any money on Combs being there next year?
Oh no, I don't. I just
no.
don't think that Travis has anything to do with
There
it.
you go.
Now, you want to put some money on whether it's his choice or their choice, because we'll never really know the answer, no matter what comes out as the
Sure.
Yeah, it will be done delicately either way
Yes.
it's done.
yes.
Yeah,
Which
because
will-
he's a great recruiter. You don't want to lose his face with that. Obviously, as a
Oh no.
program.
Yeah, I mean we're still thinking about keeping people happy. There's going to be players here that may like coaches that may be leaving. There's always that.
I am going to welcome any interviews for Al Washington this year, though. Last year, when he had supposedly taken or accepted or been offered the Tennessee DC job, I was perturbed, just like Ryan Day was. But looking back, I'm like, go ahead. I'm not sure you've done much here. I honestly don't.
He got a big promotion. I mean, he got a big raise to stay, and he got a job title promotion. Now, what that actually is, but I know his title has changed. I think isn't he like he's not co-defensive coordinator, but he was
He's like running game coordinator or some shit like that.
Yeah, just a
but regardless,
give him something.
He's looking, obviously, and which I'm not surprised. I mean, it doesn't offend me that these guys are all looking as assistants or position coaches. But
no, of course not. It's their career.
Probably a bad choice for that Tennessee job. Not, I don't know. Maybe he's just taking the interview.
He should have taken that job because I don't think his stock is going up. I think if you look at the talent that Al Washington has been able to coach for the last 3-4 years, however long he's been here, and all the 4 that we had last year that all went on to the league, and the amount of 5 stars in that he's had in that room, and even now with the guys.
He hasn't developed.
I feel like
right.
the whole linebacker crew. I mean, I see these teams like Northwestern with Patty Fishers and stuff that their linebackers dominate games, and our linebackers don't dominate games. And we've got 3-4 guys that I feel should, and they just don't.
Teams like Wisconsin have 3-4 dominant linebackers yearly. Iowa has a couple linebackers a year. But we have, none of our guys. Look at all of our 5th-year seniors, our 4th-year seniors. Pope, Gant, Taraja. No development. None of them could make an impact with us. A couple of them knew it, and then they left. Taraja just stuck around, and he's been a ghost the last end of the season. When the running game gets more important, and we play more running teams in the colder weather, Taraja's nowhere. So where's Reed Carrico? Where's all these other recruits? These guys. These low 4 stars we've accumulated over the years.
Well, we only got 6 guys healthy for this game.
I know, and I understand injuries, but we also took a running back in September and brought him over, and he's been one of our best. So what is really going on with the linebacking core? Are we not recruiting the right linebackers? Because they're not getting developed right.
I'm concerned it's development and culture in that particular room. That's why I lean on getting Al Washington out.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, it could be as simple as that. These guys are all talented. Other schools want them too. We just have to get them.
By culture? Do you think what I'm thinking, Joe, or do you think it's that our linebackers are a little bit soft?
I just think they haven't been developed, Sean. I think it's strictly that. I think he's been given the talent, like raw talent, but they haven't been developed for shit. I see our linebackers getting swallowed up or being way out of position. Cody Simon has his back to the ball sometimes, like against Michigan specifically. He has his back to the fucking ball. What are you doing? I'm seeing him take himself out of plays like we saw with the linebackers last year.
I saw all the linebackers doing that. I was like, what?
Right.
The first half, guys.
Every time it's a 13-yard. The 16-yard run for Haskins.
Hey, they ran trap and counter back and forth both sides, all formations, single back, 2 back. They ran the trap and the counter the whole first half. That's what got us. That's when you saw Simon getting pushed in the back. It's that guard closing closing
Right.
down on him.
Right.
And it's an easy cut for a running back. You follow the guard, kick out.
But down in the goal line, I saw it down in the goal line. He took himself
why are
out
we-
of a gap. He was supposed to fill the A gap where Haskins was coming. I have screenshots of it I saw on Twitter earlier today. He sat in the gap and then flowed left as Haskins is coming through that gap. It's like, what are you doing? Fuck.
I know what play you're talking about. Not the last one where they all kind of got out of the way and let them score because they're like, we need this clock to even have a chance.
Yeah. No, yeah, they all laid down for that one.
But
That was smart.
But I couldn't tell at first. It's like you guys been playing like that all day.
Right. This is just another play, really. This is just another third down.
Us as Buckeye fans could see or knew exactly what Michigan was going to do, saw what they were doing it, and our defense would have known that was coming too. Why we couldn't stop they didn't. So I'm saying, like, their basic run game didn't change any. They just did it constantly.
It was pretty simple.
Yeah, I mean, why? No adjustments.
And
No adjustments.
All their outside stuff. They were having all of those tight ends go out there and just bully us, and we didn't have the dudes out there. The one linebacker gets swallowed up. I'll be out there, block. They'd have tight ends blocking our corners, and just
Right, because
having their
we're
way
running a
with
4-2-5 out there.
Because we don't
Instead
have
of a
enough good
4-3
because we don't have
or
enough good
4-4.
linebackers.
But on-
We
Yeah.
don't
but
have
on the
enough good
one, I don't
linebackers
know
in the
if-
program.
I think
We
it
can't
was a
even
touchdown.
pull them off the bench.
We had all of
I mean,
our
fuck.
linebackers over on the one side of the field. They ran it the other way, and it was just like, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
It was just poor all around. I think it just poor all around. And then I didn't, and maybe it's that crowd, but our sideline just looked fucking bleh all day. Like they were never into it.
well, we never got any momentum, man. Like, we
So you
never
gotta
got the
make
momentum.
your own. And
Yeah, it looked like everybody was sitting around waiting for the other guy to do something. As soon as that
And
offense gets going, we'll be
that's
fine.
as lit as I've ever seen Big House ever. Like, maybe in 20 plus years.
Good for them. Fuck off.
I'm not saying I enjoyed it. I'm just saying
Fucking
I've never
burn it down.
I've never seen people there with pom-poms all shaking at the same time, or even that stadium so full. Never saw it. At least it's
it
been a
did
long
seem
time.
loud. I was actually wondering at some point because the big house is notoriously not loud. And it seemed really loud on TV. And in the back of my, I'm like, are they pumping in music, man? What in the hell is going on? Really
Right.
rocking.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get past it and let's talk Rose Bowl. How's the Rose Bowl treat you? How's that sound, Sean?
It doesn't sound like anything good to me other than we get some development for the young kids and get a chance for Olave to go over 1,000 yards. Other than that, I could really care less. I mean, I guess maybe, especially you're out there on the West Coast, nice to look good out there because, we try and hit that area pretty good. So, I mean, there's some side benefits to it, but in the grand scheme, I guess it's good for the program, but I don't give a shit.
Jeff, what do you think about opt-outs?
I think we see them. I think
Like
we
a
see
handful?
bunch. Yeah, probably. And we'll never even know probably because they're just gonna put him unavailable. Oh, he had a knee. He's got a thing. We'll never fucking know unless the players themselves.
Even though
Twitter.
with 5 weeks of rest, like Bradley
Yeah.
Roby, bone bruise after 5 or 6 weeks.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, I think we see them. I'm with Sean. I'm indifferent at this point. You look that disappointing against those assholes. I'm indifferent. I mean, what are we gonna play? We're gonna play Washington State. We're not gonna get Oregon even. Probably.
I don't want Utah. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You want to go out to the Rose Bowl and lose? Okay. Let's just
No.
heck
I'd
of it.
rather have
I mean,
a rematch with Oregon. Thank you.
yeah. I mean, I don't think we'll
Why?
get
So
it.
why we going to change our defense before then? They're going to run it down our fucking throat. I don't
No.
see that again.
At least we saw them before. Utah will fuck us up.
I don't know. Whatever. yeah, getting some development for the players. If they can make good time of it and the coaches do a good job of instruction, hopefully it helps. But whatever. If 10-3 and 10-2, nobody fucking cares. You know what I mean? Nobody's gonna know after next year what happened this year. Losing the game on the West Coast, going out to the Rose Bowl and getting beat up by somebody out there in front of the West Coast recruits, that would suck. But I might. I'll probably watch. But
It doesn't have the same
I don't
shine
know.
as a Woody Hayes Rose Bowl.
Of course, yeah, of course.
No. I mean, I'll probably still watch it, but I'm indifferent. I got a Michigan flag in front of my fucking house right now for a whole week.
Nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
Ouch.
Loser.
I came up with the bet because every year it's been $100 and he's tired of paying me. So I said, all right, well, how about loser flag, victor's flag for a week? And I took my flag over there yesterday, and
You should have said, "Hey, you want the $100 instead?" Just said, "Hey, you want the $100 instead?"
Yeah, good idea.
He would have taken it. He didn't want. He felt bad. He's like, you don't have to put it up if you don't want to. I'm like, nah, I made the bet, motherfucker. I'll put it up. Every day I got to send him a picture with it up in my house.
Oh, that's the real tragedy. All right, so Heisman odds. Obviously, CJ gave it up. Although Bryce Young did not do anything to win it, in my opinion.
Hey, I don't.
He
won the game.
You guys see that Bama game?
Oh yeah, I watched the game in silence by myself, but he won the game, Joe. He didn't do anything to lose it. He didn't win the Heisman with it, but he won the game. And then
right. Well, yeah, taking Auburn to a few overtimes, which amounted to just extra points. Not a win for me, in my opinion. Now the divide between him and CJ is drastic. I don't agree with it. I think even CJ in a loss, even though Ohio State's not going to win the Big Ten, I'm not sure that Alabama's going to win their conference. Probably not. So maybe things will change next weekend if Bama gets rolled by Georgia.
What have the odds changed to? Because I'm still a kind of a firm believer that CJ, with the numbers he put up, high threes, 2 touchdowns, 0 picks. I know it was an L, and I know he's got the L with the Oregon loss, but he threw 400+ yards that game too.
He almost went for 500 that game. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think
I got him right here.
I don't think these losses go against CJ necessarily, and I still like him to win this award.
Young is minus 210. Yeah, Young is minus 210. Heavy favorite. Stroud is plus 425.
I think Stroud gets
That's 1 and 2. That's 1 and 2. After that it goes up to like plus 1400 for Kenneth Walker and Kenny Pickett, and then Aiden Hutchinson somehow gets launched into the plus 1400 world.
Oh gosh, let them win that. Give it to Hutchinson.
Fuck yeah, please, can you? Cocksuckers. So yeah, but that's a minus 210 to plus 425. That's a huge gap between Young and Stroud.
So yeah, I mean, I don't see. This is like a year that they should just like nobody earned it. Just not give one out.
Yeah,
because I mean, I guess Stroud's numbers look good. Brace's numbers are pretty close. I mean, they're pretty close. It'd be Bryce Young. CJ gets invited. Probably Kenneth Walker. I don't know, how many did they take to New York? 3 or 4? I don't know.
Yeah,
but
CJ will.
But go. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think he wins it. If he wins it, I think we'll be lucky to win the bowl game if CJ wins the Heisman.
Okay, we got to talk about some breaking news right now. We're going to skip past the championship week spreads. We got to talk about Lincoln Riley going to USC.
Yeah.
This is official. And
official.
Already people are decommitting from Oklahoma. 5-star wideout Brandon Ennis, 4-star running back Treon Webb. Trinity Christian Academy in Jacksonville. Treon Webb, hello. Would I like you to introduce you to Tony Alford, please?
Well, that's the question on these guys. Are they decommitting to follow Lincoln Riley to USC, or are they decommitting to open up their options?
It depends.
Webb was down to, before he committed back in July, he was down to Oklahoma, Georgia, and Ohio State. So I'm not sure he ever took a visit out west. Probably not, but maybe he can.
Hey, that West Coast better hang on to your commits, your verbals out there on the West Coast when you got fucking Lincoln Riley pulling into LA. He's gonna roll up to Mason D,
man, where Sean Wade is from.
We have a lot of connection there, yeah. No, it's. I think it's going to skew both ways. I think USC is going to be able to get attention of a few guys that they wouldn't have had earlier, and Oklahoma's going to lose some.
Yeah,
but you never know. I mean, last week I saw something on Twitter that he was in talks with LSU to become the head coach.
He might have used those talks against everybody. I mean, he might have been working a little three-way.
I even saw that's when the Mel Tucker extension was going around, and what the Mel Tucker rumor was like a 10-year, $95 million. I heard that LSU wanted to give Lincoln Riley that same
13?
$95 million over 8 years.
Oh, these numbers dwarf that, dude. At USC, this is.
What are they coming up with here?
Give me a second.
I think he's got to be at 13 or 15 a year, which is fucking crazy. Lincoln Riley's gonna make as much as Odell Beckham.
Football more. I should have played more Madden or something.
Hey, Lincoln Riley's making the same as Odell Beckham, I bet.
Yeah, he's making 7.6 right now.
It's not bad,
but he's not like top 5, or he might be top 10 in the country.
Right. I mean, the top line.
That 7.6 don't spread that far in LA. You need to make a lot more money. Oklahoma 7.6 is a lot of jack.
Right, exactly. That's probably. I'm sure that's what the increase was for. Is like cost of living, man. I live at this level. It's probably the same. $7 million in Oklahoma is $13 million
there.
in
That's
LA.
insane. Yeah.
Oh, and you can add all kind of proficiencies into the contracts. My housing's free. All this shit.
Right.
We want a school-owned beach house in Laguna. That I'm going to live at. Whatever.
Yeah, I'm not finding any numbers yet for USC, but obviously if he's making 7 point whatever in bumfuck Egypt, it's got to be well over 10.
Well, I would think he's got to be. He's definitely the highest paid in the country. I mean, I think right. I think Saban's top at 11 or 12.
Yeah,
you got Shaw.
I think he will be.
David Shaw's up there. He's like around 9.
I think that's part of taking the job. He's like, look, you're gonna make me the highest paid in the country. I mean, that's part of it. Whatever that had to be.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting.
Bush and Matt Leinart scratching some checks out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's the recruiting this next couple. Well, I mean, you got this next month, or not even a month till early signing period. What's the date?
You got like 2 weeks, man.
2 weeks. Okay, that's okay. I knew it was early. It was summer in December. We'll see what Lincoln Riley can pull out there in USC, talking to guys, keeping guys, trying to maybe tell them, hey, don't commit yet. Give me till February. Give me till February. Get this.
Remember back in the day, USC used to get every good athlete, west of the Mississippi, sans Texas. I mean, they got they would just pick half the country was theirs. Like, yeah, thank you. If Lincoln can get them back to that level, watch out.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, if you watch for some of the guys that are, solid verbals or whatever to schools, and maybe the schools thought they were going to be signing early. If they say, well, we'll wait till signing day, that's probably because maybe he got in their ear and said, hey, give me another month here, let's get to know me, and I'm sure he's gonna have to hit the ground running. He's got to turn that program around. So there could be a lot of moving parts in the recruiting over the next couple weeks.
Yeah, December 15th is early signing. So you got to.
Damani Jackson. Hey, Damani Jackson. First
Go.
call. First phone call.
Yeah.
For everybody, not just Lincoln Riley.
Right. Yeah.
So
You say, oh, son. Well, we don't. You said you liked it here. What's the problem?
yeah, I think Trayon Webb actually. I'm not sure he wants to go out west. I think he wants to be within a one connection from home kind of flight. Which I can understand.
How'd you know that,
that's
Joe?
why he committed to Oklahoma. So interesting.
Anyway.
Interesting how this is going to play out. This is going to affect a lot of national recruiting across the board, I think, and we'll see how this first class goes for Lincoln Riley. And now they're saying that Oklahoma is going after Cliff Kingsbury in the NFL.
So why would he leave a pro job?
No, he won't.
He's got the quarterback he wants in the NFL.
Yeah. Well, they're going to try and throw NFL money at him and say, hey, how would you like to come back to college? And instead of just working on football all the time, you get to recruit too.
Right.
Yeah. You get to go into living rooms of parents and kids in the ghetto and try and commit them to your school instead of handpicking them in the NFL.
Instead of living in a palace in Scottsdale.
Yeah, that's all right. Seems all right to me.
Yeah, I mean, of course you can say we're going to go after Cliff Kingsbury. Sure you are.
Yeah, it sounds awesome, doesn't it?
Yeah,
If
you know
you're
what?
in
And then
Oklahoma.
the next school is going to go after Nick Saban too.
Right, yeah.
We're going to go after Saban. We're going to see if he's interested. Oh, okay, good.
Yeah. We gave him a phone call. I haven't heard back yet.
I wouldn't be surprised, in the next couple years, though, if an Urban Meyer name ain't flopping around out there.
I'm surprised it hasn't yet, honestly. Especially when that USC job came open.
Oh, it was talked
Yeah.
about, just but there wasn't. Of course, there was no substantial no. But Urban was asked about it. I remember. They brought it up at a press conference. One of his weeklies.
He's probably waiting on Saban. He's probably waiting on Saban to retire and go take that Bama gig.
Yeah, probably.
No, he's a builder. I don't think he's not much of the maintainer. He's a builder. You get older.
Shit may go sideways once Saban retires, which is coming within the next 5 years. Once he retires, you see these SEC teams, especially like Georgia, setting themselves up for long-term stability. Where we're gonna once Saban's gone, we're gonna fucking jump on that opportunity, right?
Yeah, and you think Ole Miss is trying to hang on to, to what's his fuck name, as long as they can, but he's jostling for a big job.
Oh, dude, he's going for the fucking
LSU
Canes
I
job.
think.
He wants the Canes job, I think.
He could have that in a heartbeat. I think they'd be fortunate to have him, as much as they've fallen off.
Yeah.
But I don't know. A lot of jockeying around. I mean, the SEC is trying to line up. LSU knows they know the Georgia playbook. They're just trying to get to it.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, good show, boys. You want to take a little time off, and maybe we'll do a recruiting show around signing day. Signing day is the 15th of December. So maybe a little recruiting episode, and then we'll know by next Sunday where we're going to play and when we're going to play.
Around early signing day sounds good.
Okay. We'll figure it out. So we're going to take some time off, folks. We've been grinding it. Wish it was on a better note. Wish we were playing this weekend. So, yeah. Anyway. All right, guys. Appreciate you. I hope you have a good, I don't know, winter. Have a good winter. Losers. So, as always, we appreciate you listeners. Keep an eye out for any of the press conferences coming up. I'm not sure if they're doing a Tuesday press conference like normal. So
I bet they are.
Yeah, well, it's going to be a lot of talk about who's coming back and who's not.
Yeah.
So, which they will not answer. So, keep.
Can you imagine the talks in the Woody right now? What are these coaches meetings like right now?
Dave's just going to be, hey, we're working through it. And
Yeah. Right. It's a series of dartboards he has in his office. So, all right.
Yeah.
Good show, boys.
all right.
We'll talk to you in a couple weeks.
All right, bro.
Later.